Relativity, episodes 1 through 10. The story so far.
Episode 1, in which everything goes to hell.
Alarms ring at Mission Control Arecibo because something has gone wrong on the distant spaceship Konieczny. But what is the exact nature of the emergency? It's hard to tell.
Mission Control Konieczny, do you read? Konieczny, this is Mission Control Arecibo. Please respond. Konieczny, we have lost your telemetry and navigation signals. Come on, just a sound, anything.
Who is that woman speaking for Mission Control? This is Sophia, intelligent, resilient, and incredibly self-motivated, but even she has a limited amount of patience, and this mission is pushing her to the end of it.
Konieczny, are you hearing me?
I can hear you now. Control, yeah.
We lost your nav signals, telemetry, visual comm. What's your condition?
You mean mine personally, or the Konieczny's? Because I'm not good. I gotta imagine ship's not so good either.
And who is that guy speaking for Konieczny? It's the ship's doctor, Christopher Mason, who is by no means an expert on the ship's mechanical systems. And he suffered a blow to the head. And he doesn't know what's happened anyway.
Okay, Konieczny, we need a report on the ship's condition. You have to tell us what happened.
I don't know yet.
Let me talk to the captain.
Not possible, I'm afraid. The captain has apparently gone outside.
Into space?
That's the only place you can go to from here. And I have reason to believe that when she went out, she wasn't wearing a suit.
Episode 2, in which a personnel problem is revealed.
Why would the captain of Konieczny commit suicide? And is it related to this sudden event that has apparently crippled the ship? Sophia can't immediately provide the answers, and Dr. Mason wants to know why she can't.
The truth is, we need a large and effective team here to assess the damage to the ship, to help you effect repairs, and we're not as well equipped as we'd like to be.
Aha.
In fact, mission control here at Arecibo is rather desperately short-handed.
I see.
We lost 10 people in the last week.
When you say lost, you mean what? They quit? They got drafted? Or you mean you lost them as in you misplaced them? Have you looked between the sofa cushions? Hello? Konieczny to mission control.
I'm still here.
But not answering my question. What happened to all those people?
The point is simply that the assistance and guidance you're accustomed to is simply no longer available.
But does Chris have any idea about why the captain might have taken her own life?
Why not share your information or perception and allow me to judge its validity?
Okay, yeah. Since I'm pretty sure the captain committed suicide, and she was one of the sanest, most level-headed people alive, I think I have an idea about why she did that.
That would be very helpful.
I think it was because of something she saw. Something up here on the bridge.
Do you mean...
I mean, she saw something here that made her want to die.
Episode 3, in which we learn Sophie is perfect.
Chris and Sophia are different in many ways. Perhaps the main difference is that Chris seems to say whatever thought enters his mind with little regard for the consequences. Sophia is brilliant at keeping her cool under pressure and keeping certain thoughts to herself. But does even Sophia have a breaking point?
And I know that it's difficult and stressful to be in your situation.
No, you don't, because you are there and I'm here. You're sitting in a comfy chair in a cozy high-tech room in Puerto Rico, and I'm trapped on the bridge of a spaceship that apparently rammed into something at insane velocity right after I learned our captain had committed suicide after seeing something that I assume is still out there. So pardon me if I'm not as cooperative.
I don't know what it's like to be you. All right? I admit it. I have no idea.
Hey, look, I
can't imagine the kind of stress any of you people have been under. And that's why I didn't join your team myself. But listen, you also have no idea. Okay? It was supposed to be safe here. But everything is going to hell and everybody's expecting me to be perfect and I can't because I don't have the resources.
Sophia,
And I just blew my pretense of being tough and cool and damn near mechanical, so there's no way that's ever going to work again.
You're doing fine under insane circumstances, all right?
Everybody's staring at me.
Sophia, hey,
I am supposed to be the rock. The one thing in all of space and time that you can always count on.
you're supposed to be able to count on us. On me, all right? It's supposed to be a two-way street. A street that's a gajillion kilometers long, but still.
So, with some of the tension between them released, might Sophia and Chris be free to peacefully disagree?
Look, maybe we should not only cut each other some slack, but try to cut some slack for ourselves, too.
It's very gracious, Chris, but it is my job to be perfect.
Says who?
Says me. Do you know who you have to be? What you have to accomplish to sit here in the flight director's chair?
I have a pretty good idea.
You have to be perfect. You have to know everything. You have to respond to every situation in the best way humanly possible.
I understand all that, Sophia, I do, but I'm a doctor, and I can tell you.
So am I, by the way. PhD space sciences, top of my class.
I assumed you must be.
Nanyang Technological University.
Impressive.
Most competitive university on the planet.
I know. You ever make a B on a test?
I've never made lower than an A-.
I'm starting to see a problem here.
It is not a problem.
Sophia, I'm a doctor of medicine, and my specialty is human beings. That simian subgroup of which I'm a member, and I assume you are as well. And I can tell you, perfection is not an option for us.
It's an aspiration.
It's a delusion.
It's all relative.
You're setting a standard that...
Come on, we all have to strive for perfection. We have to do our absolute best, don't we?
Up to the point where perfection becomes an obsession and starts to erode our sanity.
Okay, we may have to agree to disagree about this.
Are you married, Sophia?
No.
You got a boyfriend, girlfriend?
So you think I can't have a lasting relationship because my standards will always be too high.
Well...
What's wrong with high standards?
With a new, if grudging, respect for one another, Chris and Sophia work together to assess the damage to the ship. But a visit to the main airlock reveals a new problem.
Chris, I'm thinking it over, and what I just said is not technically accurate. The light comes on when you open the interior hatch, and it stays on until you close the exterior hatch.
Yeah?
So if you're sure the light was on before, whoever opened the outer hatch left it open.
So with the main power off, is it,
Yeah, the inner hatch is on manual. If it wasn't closed properly, it could come open at any second.
And that would be bad.
Yes. Explosive decompression is very, very bad.
Episode 4, in which Christopher is momentarily relieved.
Can Sophia talk Chris through the process of getting the airlock's internal hatch closed before it suddenly opens the ship to the cold vacuum of space?
I know exactly how this hatch works. So there's a T-shaped handle that's recessed in the rounded square. If you're facing the porthole, it's on your right.
Facing the porthole on my right. Yes.
Are you touching the hatch?
I was about to.
Okay, be very, very gentle. Touch it like it was...
The cheek of a newborn babe.
Exactly. Good image.
All right. I am lovingly caressing the hatch that wants to kill me.
Okay, do you feel that square recess?
Yes.
Okay, carefully reach into it with just your fingertips and tell me when you can feel the T-shaped handle.
Oh, I have it. I'm touching it.
Okay, close your hand around it and turn it clockwise.
Hang on, let me remember what clocks used to look like.
Okay, turn it to your right if that helps.
Got it. And here we go.
That's it, you're good! I mean, well done.
It hissed when I turned it. There was actual air moving in that seal.
Yeah, it was about to open.
You know, you don't have to tell me everything.
I thought you said you wanted the truth.
No, I just won't... Okay, good point.
As they continue to explore the ship, Chris pauses to make a ship-wide intercom announcement.
Attention all hands, this is Dr. Mason. Please respond anyone. Use shipwide PA or the sickbay channel or buzz my personal comm, anything. Nothing.
I don't understand this.
That makes two of us.
Once he reaches sickbay, Chris has access to his ship-wide medical scanner, which gives him the worst news of his life. But how can things be worse for him than they already are?
Oh my God, I can't even say it.
No, it's not... It's not possible.
I felt it already somehow deep down, but now I know it's true. I am the only person alive on this entire ship.
Episode 5, in which a handwritten note is read.
Is Dr. Mason really alone on the ship designed for 21 people? And if so, is this related to the captain's apparent suicide?
Now, we don't know that for sure. There are other possibilities.
Sophia, my monitor shows no life signs on the ship other than mine. The captain's vital signs went flat and somebody went through that airlock. And since all 21 EVA suits are still on board, she must have gone out there without a suit.
These are all logical conclusions, but based on...
There's a strong logical case emerging for every single member of this crew besides me having, done the same thing?
You think they all went through the airlock with no suits on?
Yes!
But you have to ask, why would they do that?
I don't know.
And we learned that the captain left behind what appears to be a suicide note. Might these few words explain everything?
Yeah, in ink, on plain old paper, very 20th century. Listen to this. It's short and cryptic. Definitely her handwriting. If I was an insect, there would be a reason. If I was a spore of pollen, there would be a reason. If I was a bacterium, there would be a reason. But I am not on the scale of reason.
Sophia has an idea, and it is, of course, a perfectly logical one. Chris has nothing but doubts.
Have you considered that maybe they're all just in the cargo bay? I know many of you love being in there.
I can monitor people when they're in there.
Usually, yes, but if there was some kind of mechanical fault in your monitor, and maybe it's related to whatever happened in the whole ship, might it not cut off your monitoring to the cargo bay?
Well,
It's so heavily radiation shielded, and it's so disconnected from where you are.
I suppose that's possible.
Of course it is. You might go in there and find all of your crewmates in there just having a picnic.
Right. They just decided to leave the bridge unstaffed and walk away from their other duties and experiments and intrigues.
All right.
And then they were oblivious to the shockwave that broke things and cut off the lights in here. And
maybe they're trapped in there.
why would they have been there in the first place, though? And why would they all go at once? And what does it have to do with the captain's suicide?
Well, there's only one way to find out, don't you agree?
Now that's logic that even the argumentative Dr. Mason can't disagree with. So Chris sets out for what everybody but him calls the cargo bay. Perhaps his quest is very nearly at an end.
Sophia, look, I'm thinking about your theory that somebody's hiding in there and my monitor can't detect them.
What about it?
I'm also thinking about my theory that one of my shipmates has turned into a homicidal maniac. And I'm wondering if that isn't who I'll meet when I open this hatch.
I don't know what to tell you, Chris.
Yeah. Well, Sophia?
What do you stop? Stop right there!
Sophia? What? Sophia, come in!
Episode 6, in which signs of life are eagerly sought.
The all-important voice line between Sophia and Chris has been severed. Chris can only imagine the worst. Cut off from Sophia's guiding voice, he forces himself into the cargo bay anyway. We hear that this is a place that is alive with the songs of birds and crickets. Is this a gigantic nature habitat? Some sort of immense chamber in which an entire forest lives and grows?
Hello? Anybody in this hall of mirrors besides me? Anybody up there on what, from my perspective, is the ceiling? It's me, Dr. Mason, shouting down to you from what appears to be the ceiling where you are. My God, what a madhouse.
Then, a miracle. The voice line is suddenly restored, at least partially. Chris can hear Sophia, but she can't hear him.
I'm just gonna keep talking, partly because I hope you can hear me, and partly because it seems to help me from I'm letting my emotions get the better of my intellect, and in case you're wondering, I am under my desk. I think it's more psychological than anything. I mean, if they want to come out and shoot me, this little box won't even slow them down. It's funny, the flight director's console is literally the last place I would have thought to be safe. I mean, I'm right in the middle of a large room, but these people, whoever they are, they came in with their guns pointed at certain people, and they looked right past me and towards the doors. Like they knew exactly what they were doing, and they shot two of my people, Sebastian and Isabel, and I think it was because they were closest to the doors.
But what are these doors she speaks of, and what could be behind those doors that armed bandits would want to kill for?
Hello, speak to me.
Mission Control to Konieczny.
Sophia! Oh, you cannot imagine how beautiful the sound of your voice is to me.
I think I have a reasonable guess.
My heart just tried to jump out of my chest. You're alive.
Sophia is alive, but two of her friends are not. And the bandits are also dead, killed by the highly efficient local police. And Chris, still trying to understand all of this, wants to know, what in the world could be hidden away at Mission Control Arecibo that's worth killing and dying for?
Episode 7, in which the value of certain chemicals is explored.
Once again, Chris gains a deep understanding of what makes Sophia so very special.
Everybody else who was working the shift got out when the police came in. I don't know where they are.
Why didn't you get out with the others?
Well, I'm supposed to stay here, no matter what.
Sophia, you are something else.
It's, just part of sitting in the flight director's chair.
Sophia and Chris agree they can, for the first time, choose to take a long break from their communication. So they break the connection long enough to both rest and recover from the latest nightmare. When they reconnect, Chris is lying on the grass inside the habitat, deeply intoxicated.
And you promised you would drink in moderation.
Such a finicky word. It doesn't hold still and let you define it.
I will not deceive you. I've had a couple shots myself.
Do you mean injections or?
Shot glasses.
Oh.
Tequila.
Yeah.
What's wrong with tequila?
I can't stand this stuff. Of course, what I'm drinking here is something we synthesize, and it tastes like formaldehyde smells, but it does the job.
The search for Chris's crewmates seems to have come to nothing, and at Mission Control, none of the people who fled have returned. So as different as they are from each other, Sophie and Chris realize their predicaments are very much alike. All the people they depend on have left them.
Sophia, how did we both end up so alone? How did that happen?
I think you're asking a philosophical question, in which case I have no answers for you.
Nor do I. My question was rhetorical. But I still want to know why these yahoos came crashing into Mission Control with guns ablazing.
They came to steal medicine.
I assume it's a lot of medicine.
I don't know what you'd call a lot, but yes. Because the building has such tight security, or at least we thought it did, we've come to the de facto security vault for the material wealth of the island.
Oh, you mean gold, silver, plutonium?
And medicine.
I sense that you're trying to not tell me what this medicine is for and why people would kill for it.
The medicine is very hard to get, and it's hard to make, and so it's very expensive.
And it's something a lot of people need very badly.
Exactly.
You have an epidemic, don't you?
They call it SAL.
SAL, is that S-A-L?
Yes, it stands for Super Adaptive Lyssavirus.
Did you say lyssavirus?
Yes.
Holy rabies? There's a new strain of rabies, and it's called super adaptive?
Yes, conditions on Earth were miserable when the ships like Konieczny left on their mission, and those conditions have gotten progressively worse. But what exactly was the mission? Was it simply to get a few people away from the hell that our home planet has become? Or is there a larger, greater purpose? And why was Sophia reluctant to tell Chris the truth about the supervirus that will kill billions of people after first driving them insane? Could it be because the agency that launched these ships learned about the virus after the ships were launched?
A purely selfish thought just occurred to me. Any idea what the dormancy of the virus is?
I'll research that. I've heard confusing opinions.
Just, wondering if the early form of the virus was active before the time we launched, before we embarked on this mission.
Oh, yeah, I'll find out what I can.
Specifically, how many of these creatures surrounding me right now might be carrying this incredibly lethal supervirus?
Episode 8, in which Sophia and Christopher briefly swap places.
The truth is, Sophia has never liked the part of her job that required her to conceal certain truths from people aboard Konieczny. And in some ways, the ire she gets from Christopher Mason about these cover-ups only makes her situation more difficult.
I'm not accusing you, Sophia. I'm talking about how things are just... These people higher up the food chain from us. They're pulling the rug out from under us and leaving us...
I don't like this any more than you do.
Like this. What is this exactly?
The way you and I have both been treated.
Who is actually in charge there?
The space agency is still operating despite the challenges in the world at this time, and the director of the agency is still the man in charge.
And there's an observatory. There's a communication center for each ship, right?
As far as I know.
You just don't have any contact with them?
No, I do not.
Well, we haven't been able to contact any of the other ships for quite a while now, and nobody's been willing to explain that to us either.
I know. I haven't received any explanation about that, and I don't know.
I feel there's something much bigger going on. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not sure.
You and I have both been misled, kept in the dark, and outright lied to, and now here we are, and for what exactly? Is this mission really... am I out here for the reasons I was told I would be?
I have no reason to believe otherwise.
But my captain, she committed suicide. Was it because... Could it be that she learned the truth? The awful, real truth?
I don't know.
And everybody else who was on this ship with me, my friends, my comrades, will I ever find out what happened to them? Or is this all some kind of a test or another simulation?
Chris, this is the road to paranoia.
Is it? We take so much for granted. We accept things so blindly.
All of which leads us to one of the biggest mysteries of the series. You see, Chris was expressly told, before this ship left our solar system and began its mysterious mission, that time dilation would make communication with Earth impossible. He was made aware that time would pass at a different speed for him and his crewmates than it would back on Earth, and everything else we know from Albert Einstein about relativity. But instead, Christopher and Sophia have real-time conversations. As near as either of them can tell, time is passing for both of them in the exact same way. Sophia says it's all thanks to the miracle of a device or process called the relativity compensator. But is that really a credible explanation?
Oh, I've read all the history. Pietro Fabbricatore and his amazing relativity compensator, that's all anyone will say. And I'm starting to wonder...
The relativity compensator works. That's all you need to know.
That's what I'm talking about. That attitude right there. That's all you need to know. They say it to me. They say it to you, don't they? I mean, aren't you even a little bit suspicious of this? Wouldn't it make more sense that I am not traveling at some near-light speed, and maybe I'm not even...
I could explain the compensator if you spent a year learning the math it takes to understand it.
Well, hell, I'll start tomorrow. I've got nothing else to do.
Chris, I'm going to recommend you get some sleep.
I don't want to go to sleep. I don't know what I'm going to find when I wake up.
Well, you have to. And so do I. I have the exact same fear, believe me. I know. I can't go on like this.
Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. I am so Sophia, I apologize for my ranting and railing.
No, I understand
So
why you...
self-indulgent, so childish.
Perfectly understandable.
Just today, I've learned enough about you to know that you won't go to sleep until I do. And you definitely ought to get some rest.
I imagine I do, yes.
It's funny.
What is?
We're both doctors.
Well, I have a PhD in astrophysics.
And I'm lecturing you on relativity. And you're telling me to get some sleep.
Yeah, we sort of switched specialties there.
Yeah. But you're right, Doctor. I should lie down on my little bed and let nature take its course, so your neurotic code of ethics would allow you to do the same.
I'll argue the term neurotic with you tomorrow.
I'll look forward to it.
Chris does take her medical advice and commits to bedding down in the habitat where he will have the company of an untold number of animals, but no other human being. But then he hears mysterious sounds. What can they be, and where are they coming from?
What? Hello?
Christopher.
Hello?
Episode 9, in which pent-up feelings escape.
Unaware that Chris is now hearing ghostly voices calling his name, Sophia does her best to get him back on track with figuring out what happened to the ship and its crew. She guides Chris back to the bridge so he can give a more detailed description of the damage there. But as they talk, the enormous stress they have both been under begins to take its toll.
I switched over from the open channel so I could speak to you privately.
Oh.
Now please listen to me. I am doing the best I can. It is requiring every possible iota of my personal strength to keep from breaking down right where I'm standing. Do you understand?
Of course, that's what I said 5 minutes ago.
Well, it's true. And what I need from you...
What you need is a good old-fashioned crying fit, lady. You need to let it all go.
I've done my crying.
You've started your crying. I'm an expert on this, all right? And believe me, you have a lot more...
Stop it! Just stop it, okay? I am doing the best I can, Chris. I am standing right where my friend Sebastian was standing yesterday when his life came to a sudden end. Do you understand that?
Yes! And I am right next to the airlock where a woman I've loved more than any other woman I ever met just walked out into space, and if I gave this little handle here a sharp twist, I could go too.
I know that! I know. Your grief and mine together, I can't. I can't do this unless we stick to the business, to the work. Can you get that through your head? I have to deal with the facts today, with the numbers, with the plans and the diagrams and the procedures, the checklist and the Don't you know that that is all I can do right now? Don't you know that it is all... Hello? Mission Control Konechny. Chris?
Episode 10, in which hydrogen sulfide provides a clue.
Did Chris take this opportunity to commit suicide, as Sophia fears? Thankfully, no, but his radio silence was the result of deep grief and frustration.
Being here at the airlock where the captain killed herself. You know how I said I can never cry when I need to?
Yeah,
Well, I should never say never.
I understand. Believe me.
Huh. I'm sure you have a doctorate in astrophysics. I'm sure you know what happens when you cry in zero gravity.
Yes.
This is ridiculous. It's like wearing goggles made of gelatin.
Can you get back to the hub? It's 1/2 G to the center. That should be enough gravity to...
No, I've got it. And I'm swimming toward the bridge.
Okay, good. Are we okay?
Yeah. I did hear everything you just said, and I think you're completely right. We are very different, but yeah, maybe it's in a way that somehow fits together.
Well, you know what they say. we're both exactly alike, then one of us is superfluous.
A return to the damaged bridge of Konieczny brings new revelations. For example, what's that smell?
I didn't think about it yesterday. I was too distracted by everything else. It's metallic, like when metal gets too hot. There's also something in the air here that's like rotten eggs. Hydrogen sulfide.
Are you sure?
Oh yes, it's actually quite strong now that I think about it. I must have been very distracted indeed to not notice that before.
Hydrogen sulfide could indicate that an explosive device of some kind was detonated there.
Say again?
You heard me, explosive device.
So as they grapple with the possibility that the event that crippled the ship was caused by a member of the crew, Christopher reveals the secret he's been keeping from Sophia.
Yesterday when we signed off so each of us could go to sleep, I was alone in the habitat, and I heard something, a strange blend of sounds that I have never heard before.
There are many possible explanations for that.
I know, yes, but in those sounds there was a voice, a woman's voice, and it was a voice I recognize.
How can you be sure?
It was a voice I know extremely well. It was the captain.
And that's where we left things hanging at the end of Relativity Episode 10. Now, keep your ears pressed to your iTunes subscription or YouTube or however you get the show for Episode 11 coming soon. Many of the questions raised in the first 10 episodes will be at long last and finally answered. But will new and equally vexing questions arise to take their place? There's only one way to find out. Tell them the name of the show, Albert.
Relativity.